This is the Begin Again podcast, and I'm Paul Dalton. So welcome to this very first episode. The intention of this podcast is to share with you, dear listener, what I hope you'll find to be informative, educational, and thought-provoking offerings to help you either start or deepen your own mindfulness practice. As a professional mindfulness and meditation teacher, I'm pretty passionate about not only teaching my clients techniques to help them deal with stress and suffering, but also to pass on the deeper knowledge and philosophy that makes mindfulness and meditation such an incredibly reliable and supportive means for us to engage more happily and wisely with all of life. Sometimes that means unpacking what's really going on in the mind-body experience as we practice in particular ways. And sometimes it means referring back to the key Buddhist insights and understanding from which mindfulness originally derived. Now, the format of the podcast, for now at least, will be to share various short talks that I've previously shared in other formats, such as in videos or as audio tracks on my blog. It's very clear to me that podcasts are how so many of us like to learn these days, so it makes sense to make my content available for you here as well. Of course, if you'd like to see any of my videos, then please come and visit me at the website. It's pauldalton.coach. So the offering I have for you today is taken from a recent video exploring the relationship between our long-term happiness and how we experience change. I hope you enjoy it. If I was to ask you the question, what's your relationship like with change? I wonder what your most reflective and honest answer would be. Now, I know it's a really deep and rhetorical question. No need to answer it now. But one of the healthiest things we can do for ourselves in service of our happiness and that sense of inner balance is to ask the question and to really get to know our most truthful response to it. If you are thinking about it, there's a good chance that an answer that pops up is, well, it depends. No surprises. We seem to be pretty good at dealing with change when it's change that we like and that we wanted. But so often we tend to struggle when things change and we don't want them to change. I know, not rocket science, is it? But when we allow ourselves an opportunity to explore that question a bit deeper, we start to see that change and our relationship to it sits at the heart of every single moment we get to experience. Because everything is changing all the time. Everything. Things outside the world, things inside our bodies and in our minds. It's all moving parts, and it's in a constant state of flux. Now, sometimes this can be quite an enjoyable process to be a part of, but all too often it can be a real problem for our human minds that have evolved to become very attached to the way things are, and that become very identified with the way it thinks that things should be. And we try to unconsciously hold things in place, when the truth is we just can't. Now, a great example of this is my little boy. He's at a lovely age right now. And if I was to pin my satisfaction on him staying like that, even though that there's a part of me that wishes he would, there's only one way that's going to go. There's no way that tomorrow he can be the same configuration of a little boy than he is today. So a big part of my job as a dad is to accept him for however he shows up and to do my best to try to enjoy all of his transitions. You may already know that the work that I do as a mindfulness teacher is heavily inspired by Buddhist truth bombs. And in my humble opinion, the most profound truth bomb the Buddha ever gave was delivered in one line when he said, "Whatever has the nature to arise will also pass away." Now that sounds really simple, doesn't it? But if we think about that for a second, whatever has the nature to arise will also pass away. What does that include? Pretty much everything. We live in a world that is governed by this non-negotiable law of impermanence. And if you ever want to keep yourself awake at night, you might want to try thinking of anything to which that doesn't apply. What this really means is that the quality of our happiness over the long term is highly correlated to the quality of our relationship with change. And in order for us to experience more of that genuine and authentic kind of inner happiness and that sense of inner balance and peace of mind while we're going through all the trials and tribulations of our lives, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to learn how to hold change a bit more fluidly and a bit more lightly. Now, of course, it's easier said than done, and it really is a practice. And if it's something that you feel that you would really like some help and guidance with to practice this, then get in touch. So I hope this resonates with you in some way. Dealing with change is, of course, something that can be really tricky. But one of the things that mindfulness and meditation is particularly good for is helping us to build a better relationship with it. Now, if this episode has been meaningful to you in some way, or if you have any comments or insights, then I'd love to hear about it. Please feel free to email me. It's paul@pauldalton.coach. And of course, any kind feedback or review that you'd care to leave on whichever is your platform of choice, that would be so appreciated, and it really does help a fledgling podcast like this to grow. If you want to know more about me and the ways that I can help you live a more mindful life, including my 12-week online group program, Mindfulness-Based Resilience and Flourishing, where we go deep into the best of modern mindfulness and secular Buddhist wisdom, then head over to the website pauldalton.coach. Thank you so much for being here for this first episode, and please subscribe to catch the next episode that's dropping very soon. But for now, may you be happy, may you be safe, may you be well. Bye for now.